one more day. We have one more day to end corruption, end the violence in our society, put our politicians in check. Okay, that's the key here, guys. We have one more day left before we, the Guyanese people, put our politicians in check. I think I've been trying to tell myself, you know, what's the last message? What's one more thing you're gonna say before elections? I'm gonna do a video on elections day, so don't, this is definitely not the last, but it's the last before a lot of you go out there in the morning. I might do one tonight, depending on how you feel. But I have to tell you guys, I think the biggest takeaway last night, I went to Forward Guyana's rally at Burnham Court, and I went to the WIN rally on the Marriott Beach. It was amazing. It was a fantastic experience, both of them. All right. Forward Guyana has some really fantastic people in their party. Okay, Forward Guyana. I'm going to be straight up and completely honest about this situation. I don't think anyone in this country deserves a seat in parliament more than Amanza. Okay, Amanza Walton. All right, I really think she is a phenomenal person. I think her heart is in the right place. I think she's a good politician, highly educated, strong woman. Just needs to be there. Just needs to be there to call them out on their bullshit. I think she is fantastic. All right, and I am pleading with you guys, begging you guys. All right, this is from me, Kian Jabour. I'm asking you guys, please, if you are considering not voting, if you are not sure where to put your X, give it to Amanza. All right, give it to Amanza. All right, she deserves a vote. Okay. Now over to WIN's rally. Okay. So my biggest takeaway. The energy was great. The people were great. The crowd was there. They were feeling it. You could tell that everybody wanted to be there. It was fantastic. All right. But here's the key here. It happened right. I was there for maybe, I was there for about an hour or two, but halfway into my experience, coincidentally, the Carter Center showed up, and they just coincidentally were standing up right next to me. And obviously, we got into a quick chat. I spoke to, I think his name is Jason, Jimmy Carter's son, the head of the mission. And all he said was, he asked me, what role I'm playing, etc. And then I explained to him about my role in 2020, who I was with Anug, etc. And he said, he was here in 2020. And he really can't believe that something like this, like WIN, could have gotten the traction and been created, and the energy and the following, the way it has accumulated within this 5 years. He really was like floored by it. He said, this is really something really interesting. Now, I got a very positive vibe when he said it, but obviously he ensured he didn't, support anybody or make any statements like that. They were very unbiased. But we had a conversation in comparison from 2020 to now. And here is what I need to tell you guys, the takeaway from all of this. All right. It's important for everyone on the fence, everyone who hasn't decided what they're doing with their vote. Now, I think I need to say that too, just quickly. Guys, if you know where you're voting already, then we need to be putting our energies towards speaking to the people that haven't. And there's a few of them out there. And there's a lot of people that don't even want to vote. A lot of people that feel disenfranchised, just, fed up, just, pessimistic. We need to give them this energy, and we need to try and help them out to vote. And everyone who has decided, all of you that are supporting WIN and Forward Guyana, your energies over the next 24 hours need to be put towards getting all your friends and family to get on board with supporting the third parties and why they need to do it. You know, send the videos out. I ask you guys all the time, please cut these clips up as much as you can, because I at least try to educate and at least show people that, you know, there's reason behind what we're doing, right? It's not just because we like politicians or, you know, anybody want power. I open this clearly, I'm a dual citizen, I get to know power. At least I can try to educate. So I ask you guys to please help me spread this message as much as possible. Now, the takeaway from what I experienced, now, what I've experienced throughout. For all of you that are sitting on the fence, for all of you that don't know where you want to vote yet or are looking for a reason to vote for somebody else. Now, I know people have benefited. Okay, nobody can deny that. I know people's lives have gotten better. Okay, certain people out there. All right? And if you are one of those specific people that have gotten lucky and have benefited over the past 5 years, I want you to understand that where WIN was created and how and why WIN was created and birthed, it came from people feeling left out. It came from people being victimized. It came from people not buying into the racism anymore. People are desperate for a change. Now, you're going to sit down there and say, well, that's not my problem. And that's where the flaw in Guyana is. Now, we are so beat down and so oppressed, all of us just fight for ourselves. And believe it or not, it's the main reason that we have all the violence in this country. It's the reason, like, for example, our roadways are so nasty and hard to drive on. It really is just every man for himself out there. Every guy needs for himself. And it's been embedded in us. And the more you become this capitalist type society that the PPP is, you know, trying to manipulate, you just get caught up in scrambling for every dollar. I did an interview the other day with Hardier's podcast. Go and have a listen, Jafar and the co-host. And Jafar kept using this word, I understand the hustle of the politicians. And it's interesting because that's what it is to these politicians. It's a hustle. All of them in there just to benefit themselves. So nobody's looking out for each other. The politicians don't care. And when you see the WIN movement do what it's doing and garner the support that it's garnering, you realize quickly, hey, there are some people out there that are suffering. There are people out there that are not benefiting. All right? There are people out there that have been victimized. Nobody in any country, I'm going to tell you this nicely, nobody, no one on this planet under a democracy should ever feel victimized, okay? Because for a government to punish somebody for something is so backwards thinking that it really highlights that whatever political party, in this case the PPP, is in power, is only there for themselves and is trying to use fear as a control method. And again, you might be one of the lucky ones that have benefited, okay? But you have to think about other people at some point, because the continued projection, the progress that you want to keep moving up with, it's a collective effort as a society. You've seen, for example, how much this country can be stalled if people are unhappy or angry. And I use the Adriana Young situation, okay? You saw how this society reacted to that. Now, if you have people in your society that are feeling left out, feeling like nobody's protecting them, feeling scared, then the reality is we as a country cannot move forward holistically. And you just now think about this for a second. It's also the reason why Guyana feels like it's stuck in the past. And it's continued over the years. Since the PPP and PNC took power and they split this country apart, the progress cannot happen. It cannot occur. because half of the country feels left out, and they will always fight the other half. Now, what WIN is offering, what WIN is created, is a balance in the system. All right? You are not going to stop progressing. It will only encourage you to progress more. Business people out there, I say this to you guys all the time, because it's my business philosophy, and it's one of the reasons that I'm in politics. If everyone in this country grows and benefits, everyone, not just the PPP, not just the PNC, but everyone is benefited because the politicians are looking out for everyone and not just themselves, then all of us business people will do better. Our businesses will grow because more people in the country have more money to spend. All right? It's a simple philosophy. I'm not going to try to go into details on it for you. And in Guyana, we've been caught up with this very small piece of the pie, and everybody's been, all the business people, everybody's been scrambling for this piece of the pie. All right? This minor piece. And the reality is, the pie has gotten bigger. And we've watched, I always like to go back to the Junior Bash interview a couple weeks ago, where the man literally says, well, when the PPP went into power, they said this is wheat time, and the big construction companies and the friends and family start to benefit. And then, yeah, man, we used to do business together and lend one another, a little bit of money, like $40 million. And I went, $40 million? Y'all lending your friend? Now, just imagine how much of the society is left out of that type of money. Oh, don't even imagine. You yourself, I promise you, you yourself are one of the people that is left out of that type of money. And if that money can be distributed evenly for everyone, all right, then the reality is we can all benefit equally. We can all at least live a decent life in this society. You guys know this. I'm talking to you out there who have benefited and are lucky, and why you need to lend your vote to Forward Guyana or to WIN. All right, because we need the balance in the system, and you guys hold the power. All right, no, I want you to. I know you might, you shouldn't be, because if you're one of those benefiting from corrupt contracts, let me be honest with you, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you at all. All right, because you just looking out for yourself, and you're willing to do whatever it takes, and nothing can stop you from doing that. So you could stick with your corruption. All right. Now the rest of us that are working, trying to be honest, decent Guyanese, not involved with all the political bullshit, just really and truly want to live a safe, comfortable life. You guys are the ones out there that need to lend your support to WIN or to Forward Guyana. Please vote for those parties. It's going to force the politicians to look out for us. Okay? That's the key here. All right? If you're thinking about not voting, all right, don't feel disenfranchised. Don't feel fed up. Don't feel tired. That means the politicians have won, and you're just going to continue to feel that way. Don't allow that to happen. Go out there, just cast your vote for one of the third parties, and for Forward Guyana or WIN, and you'll understand when the system is balanced why we've done that. Now, let me just use a little bit of reverse logic, because somebody, again, on the Hard Ears podcast, they asked me this. The person said, I think the question was, why do I believe that putting a third party in parliament will change anything? Now, that question right off the bat implies that things need to be changed that are not changing, right? Why do I believe putting a third party in power or a third party in parliament and creating a minority will change anything? So the first thing we have to accept is things do need to change. Now here's my answer to the question. The only thing I can guarantee is that the PPP and APNU are not going to change it. They have had the opportunity. They have been in power. They have been in power with complete and absolute power, and they haven't changed it. Now, that's the logic, the reverse logic that you need to use on this. So with me, as a democracy, with my democratic vote, I'm going to at least try. And even if there is a 5% chance that the minority government will change things, I have to vote for that opportunity, because I am 100% sure that the PPP and APNU will not change anything. Because if they were going to, they would have done it already. That's why we are voting for third party. All right, to change the system, to give ourselves the opportunity, to give the opportunity for the politicians to change things. And this is always the reminder that we are not, this is not a dictatorship. We are not oppressed. Okay, it feels that way, but we're not. Now, at the end of this, if the politicians don't change anything, let's say Win and Forward Guyana go in there and don't change anything, guys, in 5 years, we will vote them out as well. I will be right here doing this, I promise. Okay? I as you can tell, I'm not joining any of those parties or anything of that matter. I've been doing this honestly, I've been doing this. Let me tell a story. Okay? 2020 happened. The whole elections drama during COVID, it was horrible. And then 2021, the PPP took power, 2021. I'll always remember this. I had, at a property, there was an issue with the GPL, all right? And I don't know, a meter had to change or something like that. And I was trying to get GPL to do it, and GPL wasn't doing it. And at that time, I was obviously closer to the PPP party because of 2020. We were all in the recount together. And then when they were sworn in, we defended democracy, blah, blah, blah. I always told them, I said, listen, I don't want nothing from y'all. I was called in. I spoke to Irfan. Irfan, oh man, you got houses, you can build, you can get contracts on road. What you want to do? I said, partner, I don't need nothing. I don't want nothing. I just want you to do your job, right? And make sure everybody's benefiting. Anybody can tell you this, I've never ever taken any contracts, nothing from the government, all right? Nothing. Nobody could come and say that. I had a small stint on GRDB board, all right, on the Guyana rice board, and I was eventually let go because I guess I was being too honest and I wasn't agreeing with all the bullshit. So they canceled me, all right? Now, that's the truth about that matter, and I'm not ashamed of it, all right? I never did anything bad. Nobody could talk bad about me with GRDB. I never did anything wrong, all right? At the end of the day, they just decided, hey, Kian is disagreeing with a lot of these ideas. Let me not have Kian there, speaking his mind. That was the end of that. No problem. All right, I never made a deal about it. Never. It was their decision. Can't fight it. Now, moving on. 2021, we had this problem with GPL meter. And I called GPL, tried to get through, never got through. Eventually got very frustrated. Don't usually do this, but eventually said, you know what? I got called the top, obviously. So I called the minister, all right? And I picked up the phone and I said, here, I got this issue with GPL. GPL falls under your work. Can you please see what you're gonna, can you please direct them to do this? Because we without power, it's an issue, all right? We suffer it. By this time, I was obviously very frustrated. And his response is what set me off. He looked on the phone, he says, let me see what I can do. At that point in time, I'm sorry, you in blackout, you in hot, you done vex. I immediately snapped. I went, all right, I think we're mistaken on this phone call. You think I'm calling you as a friend and asking you a favor. It's a big man. I am calling you to tell you to do your job that I pay taxes for. You are a public servant. I am telling you I'm having a problem, and I'm telling you to do your job and fix it. Okay? Because as taxpayers, you work for us. I'm not asking you a favor. I don't care if you're a minister. I don't care what your job is. That just means you're the manager of the public servants. Please manage them. Okay? And that was the point that I realized, hey, these guys really have gone in there and they feel like they're above the rest of us. They feel like we working for them. I just said it simple. It was just a very simple conversation. I said, partner, this is not a friendly phone call. I'm not calling for a gaffe. I'm calling you because I have a problem. And I've asked you to fix it. Your response gave me the indication that you'll do it when you're ready. And I'm telling you that I have children, I have an issue, I need my problem fixed right now. Not when it's convenient to you. All right? That's not how this works. Because if it's your house in blackout, the GPL would have done it in 5 minutes. But because, I'm a citizen paying for this, I gotta wait? No, partner. All right, and that was my snap moment. All right, and I know all Guyanese can attest to that. If we are living in a society where we need to call politicians and beg a favor just to be given our basic rights that we are paying for, then our country is broken. Okay? Our systems are broken. I should never need to speak to a politician. Ever, for anything. Okay? Politicians shouldn't have the power to do anything like that. Okay? A company like GPL, the reason GPL is the way it is and we're still getting blackouts is because of mismanagement by politicians who should not even be in the management of GPL. The only thing a politician should be able to do is justify why someone was hired. So for example, right now, I think it's Nandalal running GPL, right? Anil Nandalal brother. We can get to Anil Nandalal's racism in a second. And the question that everyone has to ask is, if after 5 years we are still getting blackout, why have you hired this man? Justify your reason for this man still being on the job. Because you can fire him. The president can fire him immediately. You don't remember all, they still do it. You don't remember all the headlines that they keep pushing out. Oh, we are going to crack down on GPL management. We are going to hold them to the fire. There's some weird words they were using. But trying to pretend like they're going to make GPL accountable and do their job. I get blackout yesterday. I don't know what you're talking about. These people aren't doing their job, right? Their job is to put the right people in place. That's what management does. They're not doing that. They're putting their friends in place. The conversation got into something else because I'm trying to convince you guys on the fence, you guys that have not decided where you're voting yet. I guess the next reason that may or may not work is the racism. Guys, if you don't feel like Anil Nandalal's statements yesterday at Stabrook Market is the most evidence possible for you to see how racist PPP is, then I can't help you. Anil Nandalal, let's start here, is not a political commentator. Anil Nandalal is not a, bottom level PPP. Anil Nandalal is our Attorney General. Anil Nandalal is the top tier, the highest level, all right, next to the president that you can get in the PPP. He represents our country, okay? He holds office, all right? His salary is paid by taxpayers. He is he should be the most accountable person in the country, all right? That's his exact job, all right? These are people that we voted in. Now, the PPP have walked around for 5 years and said, we're not racist. We're unity. We're one Guyana. We're bringing the country together. That man stood up on that stage and said, Coffee was a proud house slave. Coffee was a proud house slave. Then continued to sexualize Afro-Guyanese women. Now, I don't even know, any of you out there that are thinking to yourself, what about context? Maybe it was justified. If your mind is thinking like that, if you're trying to think that, maybe there was a rationale behind it, then you're a racist person. I know you don't want to hear that. I know you think to yourself, wait a second, maybe I'm just unbiased. Maybe I look at things, independently. No, you don't. You don't. Okay? I'm sorry to say that to you. You don't look at things independently and unbiasedly. Okay? You're a racist. Okay? Because in no way, shape, or form can anyone's imagination ever think that proud and slave can ever be in the same word, in sentence. That's crazy. That is the worst atrocities to humanity that have ever existed in our history. And you think that there were people that might have been proud of what they were being forced to do? You think for 1 second that a slave used to leave their quarters? In this case, he was referring to house slaves. You think they used to have a house slave that used to walk out to the house at the end of the night, go into their shack or wherever horrible conditions they living in, proud of the work they just did? Proud of what they were just forced to do? You in your wildest dreams, like if that for 1 second ever even crossed your brain, you're a racist. For him to say that on a public stage, as somebody in the comment section said when I posted it, the man speaking from his heart, not his head. If that is in them people, in the PPP heart, it's in their DNA. I saw another comment on that. I enjoyed another comment like that on Facebook. You know, the PPP could talk all they want, and they could talk about being, you know, who the new party is and how they've changed or whatever is nasty slogans that are complete. I say nasty because they're complete lies that they paint in a newsroom or etc. And I sat down and I said, you know, it's just a nasty manipulation that they're sitting there trying to seem changed. And then a comment on Facebook said, it's not about how they think, it's in their DNA. Okay, it's in their soul, it's in their blood. They are racist from birth. They are taught that in the PPP to hate the other side. APNU teaches the same thing about Indians. Okay, let's not fool ourselves. All right, and these two parties have split the country like that to the point where people might anywhere else in the world, Anil Nandalal would get pelt off the stage. When I mean pelt, it's either people couldn't understand him due to a lack of education, or it's really unfortunate how oppressed our people are that they're scared to react it. And those are perfect reasons to vote the PPP out. Perfect reasons to vote them out. They are so racist. If that man can say that on stage, imagine what the conversation is like behind closed doors. Imagine what it's like in the bottom house meetings. They are despicably racist. All right? And I keep telling you fence sitters out there, you people, undecided voters, if you want to continue the progress that you're feeling, then you can't have half of this country feeling like they're left out, feeling like they're attacked, okay, feeling like they're unprotected, feeling like nobody's looking out for them. Because the country itself, that group of people, will always fight back in trying to progress themselves, will always keep revolting and fighting and creating issues that will hinder our progress. We have to get everybody in this together. There is no way it can happen with one party ruling over everybody. It's impossible. And we've seen it for so long now, guys. All right? I do have to make an honorable mention to something that I hope this, I know it, a lot of you don't care about this, and I know a lot of you don't understand it, but hopefully I can teach it to you now. Last night when I was at the rally, a guy was literally just walking past, and he obviously recognized me. And he walked by and he stopped like 2-3 feet up, took out his phone, opened something, walked back and brought it for me. And he said, look at this. Look at what they just posted. And he showed me a Chronicle newspaper. Chronicle, it was online. But our local newspaper, Chronicle, and the online version. And he said, look at what they just posted. And it was a picture of the Win rally. And it was posted right then. It posted a couple minutes ago. And when you look at the picture, the place was completely empty. And we all stood up and looked around, and there were thousands of people out there. It signified, the man went on, he's like, this is such a blatant lie. Look how they lie, look how they lie, look how they lie. And he's going on about them being liars. And he's absolutely right, they are liars. But here's the part that everyone misses. All right, and this is the most important part. They are using our tax money to lie. That is state media. The government controls Chronicle, NCN, DPI. They pay Newsroom, and couple others, right? And that is our tax money that they are spreading those lies with, okay? So imagine, we paying them to lie to us. Now, I'm going to tell you this because it's probably one of my first points. I've brought it up many, many times. If we get this minority government, the first thing that is going to happen is we are going to completely eliminate state media. Chronicle and NCN will be sold to the highest bidder in a completely transparent and credible manner, okay? That company, those two companies have to go, all right? We cannot be paying for whoever's in government to use that to pay their family and friends. Let me just start by giving you the first bit of logic. The best logic is NCN and Chronicle are complete failures in the financial sense. Every single budget, every single year, they are given hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. Every single budget, every single year, hundreds of millions of dollars in order just to subsidize and stay afloat and stay open. And all that money goes to paying the salary of the friend of the PPP man that they put in charge. Okay, and the journalists, the PPP journalists, to write all of those nasty articles. Okay, it is complete lies. The company is a failure. The government controls it to manipulate society, and it has to be sold immediately. Okay, if they're using hundreds of millions of dollars to continue to bail out the failing NCN and Chronicle, we could use that hundreds of millions of dollars every single year to lower VAT. How about that? Or PAYE. How about that? I'm completely eliminating that cost altogether. See, I just saved this country hundreds of millions of dollars every year in one decision. Simple as that. And that is a decision that we don't benefit from at all. Nobody in this country benefits from that, from NCN and DPI and Chronicle and so on. Okay? Cut them out. Okay? You see, guys, it's not hard. You guys think that these decisions, oh God, nothing could change. I'm telling you this because we need things to change, and it starts with the minority. Because the PPP and APNU have been in power with complete control before, and they never changed it. So we can guarantee 100% that the PPP ain't gonna change. And the APNU not gonna change. So don't vote for them. Take your vote, give it to somebody else, and hopefully we have a chance of making the change. And how the greatness of democracy was conceptualized was that we will continue changing the politicians out until they get it right, until they fix it. That's our plan, guys. Okay? Don't feel sad. Don't feel depressed. Do not let them make you feel oppressed. Oppressed is you giving up. Oppressed is you sitting there saying, man, this ain't a walk. Nothing ain't a change in this place. It's going to change. It has to change. The WIN movement has proven how much people want change. If everything that the PPP was doing was benefiting everyone in this country, then WIN would not have been able to do what they have done in the, 90 days that they have existed. That's unbelievable. And as I said, I sat there with the Carter Center, at the rally, and his amazement was just like mine. How could something this size have been created this quickly? And it proves that we have to be looking out for everyone else in Guyana. Those of us that are doing okay and surviving and have been blessed and are lucky, all right, and have benefited, we have to use this effort, we have to use this luxury that we have to help other people. That's how we will grow as well. I'm pleading with you guys out there. If you're on the fence and you're not sure where you're voting, or you're not sure if you're going to vote, please go out there and give it to WIN or Forward Guyana. First of all, as I said, Amanza deserves the vote. Okay? Amanza is a phenomenal person, strong, educated, experienced, that deserves a seat in Parliament. WIN is the mechanism that we are going to use to create the minority. They have the support. We have to get behind them. We have to encourage more people to vote to balance the system out. okay? Because they need to take votes from both PPP and APNU, all right? So if you have anybody in the PPP that's sitting there saying, man, I ain't voting, and I know a lot of PPP people are staying home, guys, please come out and vote for Win or for Guyana, just to hold the PPP accountable. They will still win. They got a big rally. Let me be straight up here. I can get into my political predictions in a sec. But let me be honest. Look at the size of the PPP rallies. They're the biggest rallies, the biggest. Look how many people. They have enough votes. They have enough. You know they're going to get their votes. Guys, give your vote to somebody else. Don't let the PPP get full power. That's the key. So look at this, they promote everywhere how big their rallies are, how many people supporting them. I agree with you, PPP. Okay, lots of people are supporting y'all. Now, all of you out on the fence, all of you out there that are unsure of where you're voting, or thinking, man, I might not vote, go out and vote for Forward Guyana and Win. The PPP have enough. Don't abstain your vote, because abstaining gives the PPP more power. Okay? Give it. You have to, please, you don't have to do anything. I'm pleading with you. Please go and give it to Forward Guyana or Win. All right? Now, political strategy. All right? Well, now, let me do political predictions for you guys first. All right? And then I'm going to explain minority government and just another education-based conversation, because I want you guys to understand how it works, realistically, actually how it will function. Because the PPP creates this idea in everybody's head that minority government could never work. It will stall the country. And that's what the PPP like to push. And that's a complete and blatant lie. That's untrue. Okay? A minority government can only not work if you are PPP or APNU. Because they are so selfish that they only look out for themselves. And if the politicians in the PPP continue to only look out for themselves and try to thief plenty money, then all the minority government does is stop them from thieving. So when they say it's going to stop the progress, it means it's going to stop their progress, the PPP politicians' progress, because they're just looking to thief. All right? And then all of a sudden they can't thief no more because they don't have full control. That's their issue. Don't fool yourself. Minority governments work all over the world. The top countries in the world, the top quality of life in the world, countries, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, most of the EU countries are minority governments. Canada, Brazil, Japan, India is now a minority. South Africa is a minority. So many countries. Like just take your time. Go and do some research. Type in what the minority governments are around the world. And it's some of the best countries in the world. And it works perfectly once the politicians are here for the people. All right. Before I get into how it's going to actually work. Now, my predictions. All right. Globespan had posted a little, I think it had come from UG, I had heard, this little graph that showed what they think might happen, and it was as close as I think is possible. I think Win is going to take anywhere between 4 and 6 seats from the PPP. All right, and that's the main number, because we need the PPP not to get full majority. That's the key. Now, I'm going to talk to the exact regions that I think it's going to come from. Okay? Essequibo. I heard Shell Mohammed speaking last night. From Essequibo, from Supanam, all the way down to Charity, the whole Essequibo coast. All right? Up into the Pomeroon and so on. Barima Waini area. The Mohammeds are from there. All right? That's their motherland. That's their home. The PPP are trying to convince you guys that if Mohammed gets into power, that he's going to give it to Venezuela for some weird reason. And it's just a nasty political gimmick that they're using. And it just kind of shows how blatant they are liars. Okay? I mean, we saw the nonsense. If for all of you out there in Essequibo that are listening to me, there was the Barra Jagdeo, the biggest liar of them all, the most untrustworthy person in this country, stated that there was a video of Shell Mohammed coming out of the embassy. Right? The first thing he said, it was Azradeen. Then he changed him out to Shell. Now, the video, they put out a video. The video is from about 3 doors down. I don't even know where this video come from. And it shows a very blurry person, right? two very blurry people walking across a road. We don't know where these people are coming from. We don't know if these people been in an embassy, right? That's crazy because there's nothing to prove that maybe they went to another building next to the embassy. There's no way to prove it. So that video is a complete lie, all right? Manipulated more than likely. And then on top of that, you can't even tell that it's the Mohammeds. You can't tell that it's Shell. The video is a blurry character. I keep telling the joke about it is I keep saying, no, that's me. That's me in the video. It's Kian Jabour in that video. Sorry, guys. I obviously, maybe the PPP just made a mistake. They accidentally, I was crossing the road and somebody was holding an umbrella for me. And that's actually me in the video. It's Kian Jabour. That's me. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Sorry about the mix-up. PPP, hopefully you can retract your statement because that was actually me in that video. All right, guys. I was the one that was. I went to a building next door to the embassy, and I was just crossing the road, and I had some. My hands were hurting, and I asked my partner to just hold the umbrella because Sunday hot. So that was me in the video. All right, Kian Jabour is the person in the video that the PPP put out, claiming that it was Shell Mohammed going to the embassy. It wasn't, guys. The truth is now out. Breaking news. It was Kian Jabour, and I went to the building next to the embassy. Sorry about that, guys. All right? So, PPP, please retract your statement. All right? Because it's a complete lie that, you thought it was Shell, and you ran with it because of your political motives. But maybe don't lie so blatantly. And now that I'm admitting it was me, and the truth is out there, please retract your statement. All right? Now, Essequibo, back to Essequibo. Essequibo, that's the Mohammed's home. That's where they were born. You heard Shell talk about it last night. They're not going to give their land up to anyone. Essequibo is the richest part of this country. Essequibo is where the oil blocks are because it's in that Essequibo region. All right? So when you look at the international waters, it goes out from the Essequibo region. Nobody is giving out Essequibo. It's not real. It's just a lie. All right? So the PPP trying to tell y'all that that's true and drive fear into y'all, please don't believe it. Don't believe it. All right? Now, Essequibo, historically, I love Essequibo. Okay? Everybody that knows me knows I love going to Essequibo. I go as much as I can. Essequibo historically is very independent-minded. Essequibo has some of our top academic scholars come out of Essequibo. A lot of the top businessmen in the country come out of Essequibo. Some of the smartest people I know come from Essequibo. Essequibo is one of the few places that actually thinks for themselves. All right? And you've seen it in political history. Essequibo voted strong for Change Guyana in 2020 when it was Falkak and Badal, right? Essequibo voted very strong for AFC, all right? And Essequibo has a robust APNU support group as well, but are dominated by PPP. And again, using the racial Indian tactic, divide and conquer. But the last few trips that I've taken to Essequibo, I've been floored. I really couldn't believe how much support Win and Mohammed's has in Essequibo. And it's all the way through the coast. Now, I think the PPP are going to win a large portion of Essequibo, but I think I can't remember the exact number. It's a lot of statistics. But I think it's in and around the Essequibo coast there has 100,000 votes. No, less than that, right? I think like 8 or something or 7 to something thousand votes come from that region. All Mohammed's needs, all Win needs in that area, 10, 15,000 maximum out of that 70,000. And he's going to get 2 seats from Essequibo. That's 2 seats from PPP stronghold. Okay, because PPP does win majority of the votes there. So that's 2 seats that are getting from PPP. They're getting it from Essequibo. I believe in y'all Essequibo people. And And I know that you guys are not going to continue to put, I know how much you've been neglected by the PPP. I know the PPP continues with their racism. And I know that you guys are not going to be voting for PPP this go around. You're tired of them. They're over. They had their chance. Essequibo, I know you're giving Win and the Mohammeds 2 seats. I know you guys are. All right? Now, we move to Berbice. Okay? Berbice is always a very unique place. So I'm talking now, not I'm looking at Berbice, well, holistically anywhere outside of Georgia. So I'm gonna go from like Mahika, Myconi area all the way to Crabber Creek. All right? All the way down. All the villages right through, including New Amsterdam, right? Rosignol, blah, blah, blah. All right? Now, first of all, Berbice has had an amazing showing for the Win party and the Mohammeds. Anytime that party went to anywhere in the Berbice area, it's been phenomenal. The people have come out in the droves. Now, I'm speaking directly to my Berbice people now. All right? Any of you that live Mahika, Myconi area, like I said, all the way down. All right? I'm sorry that the PPP has neglected you again. I'm sorry to the sugar workers. I'm sorry to those left out villages where the PPP has been pouring billions of dollars into all these other areas and has been throwing scraps at you guys. All right? Building shitty road and then telling y'all, don't worry, there's enough for y'all. I am sorry that the PPP has continued to treat you guys like they own you. Okay? Because that's what the PPP feels about Berbicians. They feel that they own you guys. And I am so sorry that they continue to neglect you because of that. All right? It's an abusive relationship. All right? They don't actually fix nothing. Most of y'all are still struggling the same way you were struggling before 2020. I know that. Okay? Now, you guys, I know a lot of you have considered staying home and boycotting and saying, we not voting PPP, we staying in our house. Guys, in order to change things, you need to make sure the PPP are held accountable. Somebody looking at them in Parliament and saying, go and help the people of Berbice. You don't have a choice. We're not asking you to help Berbice. We're telling you to help Berbice. Okay? That's what you need. You need representation in Parliament. And you have to give it to the Win party or Forward Guyana. Okay? Go and give it to the Mohammeds. Give it to the Jaguar or give it to the Wheel Amanza. Guys, it is for your sake. Berbice has been so neglected. I feel bad every time I go there to watch how much people are suffering in Berbice. Okay? And nobody's helping. And then they make you feel like you owe them your vote. Like, I know about your bottom house meetings. There's got people recording all the time. All right? We know when they go in there, they got y'all continuing with the racism, continuing with the victimization. We know what they're doing to you guys. Break those shackles. Stop the PPP from doing that to you guys. All right? Don't let them control you anymore. Show them with your vote that they don't control you no more. All right? Show them. Go out there, take your little family, 1-1 vote. All right? Nobody not gonna know where you vote. Go into that booth and you put your X next to the Jaguar or next to the little wheel. Vote for Win or Forward Guyana. All right, guys? Show the PPP that they don't own y'all. All right? My rice workers, my rice farmers particularly, because the millers running rampant. They're doing whatever they want. All right? The millers feel like they control the farmers. All right? My rice farmers out there. Guys, the PPP has lied to y'all so much and promised y'all so much. Look at what you have now. That's all I got to tell y'all. I know how much they've lied. Look how many markets they've lost internationally because they can't put standards in. Because of how much they're taxing people. Because of how much pressure they put in on the farmers that y'all can't even produce rice cheaper because it's so hard for y'all to make a dollar. Do not let the PPP keep lying to you guys. Rice farmers out there. You guys, particularly in the Berbice area. They lying through their teeth, and then they're using Essequibo as examples, and Essequibo rice farmers punishing too. All right? Don't let them continue to manipulate y'all. Too many years they've been going through this cycle with them. Too many years, over and over, they promising y'all thing, getting y'all vote, and then not doing nothing. Rice farmers out there, please, you guys are independent. I know you guys are. Vote out the PPP. Vote for win or forward Guyana. Now, I believe that out of that whole corridor, like I said, Mahaika all the way up to Crabble Creek, there's a lot of voters up there. I think there's about 100,000 voters on that corridor. It's one of the heavier populated areas in the country. Okay? Let me tell y'all, I believe that Win has 1 to 2 seats just to win out of disgruntled voters in Berbice. All those independent thinkers, all the non-racist Berbice voters. All right? And PPP look at Berbice as their stronghold. All right? If Win can get 2 more seats out of Berbice, that is 4 seats already from the PPP strongholds alone. Jump quickly now. Last, this is the big one. I don't even need to sell it. The Amerindian vote. The PPP is running there, and the PPP got so much money that they try to go in there and buy votes. But here what they do. They go and they give the 2 show, which is the right process, and they buy over the 2 show, and the 2 show is end up taking most of the things and taking most of the money for themselves, and is left the villagers to punish. And the villagers, the Amerindian villagers out there, they know. They see it, all right? And they themselves are in so much support of Win. It really is unbelievable. I've seen more Amerindians supporting Win than anything else. And I'm really proud to see it. I'm really happy to see it. And I believe that the Amerindians are going to be the deciding factor in this election. I think the Amerindians are the ones that are going to stand up now and say, we are not getting left behind anymore. After what the PPP just did to those people, those women and children on that bus, that Greaves bus yesterday in Lethem area, get rid of the PPP. No Amerindian, morally, ethically, should ever vote for the PPP ever again. The way they left your people, like animals on that road to suffer. Okay? They throw them out of that bus like animals. Never vote for the Amerindians should never vote for the PPP again. I would never, ever encourage any Amerindian to vote for the PPP. It's almost a hatred that they have for y'all. It's really disgusting to watch. Okay? It's really, really sad. And any of you out there that have Amerindian friends and family, okay, please encourage them to vote for Win or Forward Guyana. All of you Berbicians, anybody that has Berbice family and friends, please send these videos, cut it, do a little editing. You can just do a screen record, watch it back after, and send it to them. Let them vote for Win or Forward Guyana. Encourage them to do it. Essequibians, sorry. My Essequibo people. Don't, you guys are my academics. You guys know you have to split the vote. You guys know you have to make sure PPP don't get the majority. They don't deserve it after what they've done. Okay, after how they've neglected you guys. All right? Anybody out there that has any Essequibo family or friends or anybody, please send this video to them. Cut out the clip. This is for them. I think the PPP are going to get at least another seat or more from, sorry, Win is going to get another seat or more from the Amerindians. That is anywhere between 4 and 6 seats that Win is going to take from the PPP. That's the key. Okay? I haven't even started now. I'm not even going to get into that. The counting of Georgetown and New Amsterdam and Linden and what Win is getting from these areas, which are the heavier populated areas. Okay? I got Win down for about 50. Guys, I'm sorry, you can't do that. I'm on a live right now. You're watching me. It's a Facebook call, so I know you're seeing me. Please, guys, don't call me when I'm on a live. Now we're gonna shift gears. All right, we're gonna talk about how the PPP is spreading lies about minority governments and that a minority government could never work. And they're trying to sound smart, and they're trying to use lies and propaganda to push their agenda. Now, let me make this clear to you guys. The first idea, the first way your mind should work is working it backwards. If you believe that nothing can change with a minority government, then I want you to reverse the logic. What we can guarantee 100% is that the PPP and APNU are not going to change anything. They have had full power. The PPP currently have full power, and they haven't changed anything about our laws, our systems. They have done little to no actual help for the people. Now, if you're feeling that when you're on the fence, you feel like nothing will change. It's because the PPP and APNU have made you feel that way. Oh gosh, nothing can ever change. It's because they haven't changed anything. You need to take that power back from them. A minority government will give opposition parties the opportunity to force the PPP and APNU to make the changes we need. That's the strategy, all right? That's the key in all of this, all right? Now, how does this minority government work? There are 65 seats in parliament, all right? And in order to pass a law or a budget, a majority is needed, so 33. I need you guys to ensure that no single party has 33 seats in parliament or more. None. Okay, no party should ever have that again in Guyana. Now, PPP have the biggest rallies and they promote it. Go and check all the PPP pages. If you see how big their rallies are, PPP are going to get their votes. You don't need to contribute it. You don't need to add. They have enough already. They don't need no more. Give it to Win or Forward Guyana. Now, how understanding the minority actually works. So, the problem we have in Guyana is we don't look out for each other. We don't care about each other. Everybody in Guyana is just fight for self, all right? Because we scrambling to survive. And I don't blame any of you. It's a system designed to keep everybody in this country low. Keep them uneducated, keep them poor. Everything in our system is designed to keep you poor. Even the cost of living rising that the government not doing nothing about, they want to make sure all Guyanese are struggling so they can maintain the power. Now, here is the problem that we get caught up with. We stop thinking about anyone else. But I have to explain democracy as a principle for you guys. What Parliament is, it essentially, is members of our society that we are asking to represent us in the decision-making process, in the governance of our country. Every time you vote for somebody, you are asking for that person to be part of the decision-making process. Now, what the problem is in this country, when one party gets 33 seats or more, the problem is everyone else that is in parliament that other people have voted for are left out of the decision-making process. Because this one party, right now the PPP, are making all the decisions and they're not even considering what anyone else needs. They're not even considering what other aspects or other people of society are depending on. They only helping themselves and their friends and family. I need you guys out there to make sure that the opposition has enough seats that they can have a say in this country. Because the people that voted for them need to be represented. All right? So when the PPP go out there and say, we not giving any money to Berbice or Essequibo, we giving all we money to Kitty, or we giving all we money to Perico. Now the people that are in parliament in the opposition that are representing Essequibo because the Essequibo people voted for them or the Berbice people voted for them, they are going to go into parliament and say, no, no, no. You are not allowed to just give all the money to where your people are. You have to give money evenly to everybody to benefit together. You understand? Or break it down even simpler. The PPP are giving all their contracts to their friends and family big companies. The contracts, funny enough, that the PPP themselves, the president and the ministers all have ownership in. All the business partners. They're giving all the big contracts to those people. All right? The opposition parliamentarians can step in and say, no, no, no. You are not just going to give all the contracts to your friends and family. You now have to give the contracts to everyone and make sure the bidding process is fair and even. That is what a minority parliament will create. The police commissioner. Hey, you can't just decide to put the police commission in power. We are not allowing that. Okay? If you want to put money for your gas to energy project, change the police commissioner out. That's our negotiation. Because that police commissioner only helping you and your friends. All right? We need a police commissioner that will help all Guyanese. And the minority government, the minority parliament will help create that. And that's why we need to vote Forward Guyana or win. Put any other party in there to balance the system, create some accountability. That's what we're trying to do here, guys. If you guys feel like nothing is going to change, if you guys have friends or family or anybody, co-workers, associates that are feeling like they're not going to vote or have told you all they're not going to vote, talk to them. Convince them to just this one election, because there's going to be another election in 5 years. Convince them to give their vote to one of the new parties. Let's keep the PPP in check. Let's make sure that they have some accountability. Let's sure they can't keep thieving. Let's ensure that they're helping each other. I'm asking you guys that. If you are good and you're one of the comfortable people in society and you have enough and you're not living day to day like most of Guyanese, then give your vote to somebody that will help represent those less fortunate Guyanese. Use your vote to help someone. All right? That's what I can plead with you guys. All right? I'm going to be honest, I got a little message. I have some other stuff coming up later on this afternoon. So another live, I think is going to spread the word out a bit more. But today and tomorrow, I'm going to be up early in the morning, guys. I'm going out to vote. I vote in, I think it's the African Museum, I think it is. I'm voting in tomorrow. I'm going to be up first in line. I'm up at 5 o'clock. I will be there. I think doors open at 6. Please, guys, go out there and vote for Forward Guyana or win. All right? Put it next to the little Jaguar. Put it next to the little wheel. All right? And we are going to get a change. Please give Amanza a seat. She deserves a seat. If you're not sure where to vote, give it to Amanza. She is the strongest, in my opinion, the strongest politician in this country right now. The PPP have enough votes. You don't need to support them more. You saw their rallies. Huge, thousands of people. They don't need any more votes, guys. If you're on the fence, if you're undecided, you don't need to give the PPP. They have enough. Give it now to somebody new that can represent other people and balance our system. All right, give it. Let's spread the power out to Parliament, and then the people themselves take the power back. We have more say for the next 5 years. DPP can't just thief. All right. So, guys, on that note, I will be back here a little bit later. All right. One more day, and we can end this election season, go back to our normal life. But one more day that we can take some power away from these politicians, and we do that by not voting PPP in afternoon. All right, guys. Take care. See you later.